In the view of many employers, the immigration has not been an unmingled benefit, for the Irish displayed the same exuberance and indiscipline in their relaxation as in their work. A large number of the labouring Irish in the manufacturing towns spent their earnings in the following manner. On the Saturday night, when they receive their wages, they first pay the score at the shop and their rent, and when their debts are thus paid, they go drinking spirits as long as the remnant of their wages holds out. On the Monday morning, they are penniless. Maintaining a fixed standard of existence, little superior to that which they observed in their own country, they lacked the Puritan virtues of thrift and sobriety, as much as those of application and forethought. Every Saturday night, the streets of Manchester, Liverpool, and other manufacturing towns were taken over by hundreds of drunken and brawling Irishmen. Moreover, in a score of ways, the Irishman's virtues and vices were the opposite of those of the disciplined English artisan. The Irish had a sometimes violent, sometimes good humored contempt of English authority. Not only were the rulers' laws and religion alien, but there were no community sanctions, which found prosecution in the English law courts a cause of shame. Well treated, an employer said, they were trustworthy. If one among them is detected in a petty theft, the others will avoid him. But the Irishman detected in pilfering from unpopular employers or farmers or refusing to pay rent was supported not only by the license of his compatriots, but by their collective force. A Manchester cotton master declared, there is no recklessness of conduct which they do not at times display. Constantly fighting among themselves, they turned as one man if any individual was attacked from outside. Attempts to seize illicit steals led to wars of cutlasses and brickbats, in which the Irish women were not the most backward. In Manchester's Little Ireland, attempts to serve legal executions for rent, debt, or taxes had to be conducted like a minor military action against an unbattled population. It is extremely dangerous, said the Deputy Constable of Manchester in 1836, to execute a warrant in a factory where many Irish are employed. They will throw bricks and stones on the officers' heads as they are coming upstairs. And the superintendent of the Manchester Watch gave evidence that in order to apprehend one Irishman in the Irish parts of the town, we are forced to take from 10 or 20 or even more watchmen. The whole neighborhood turned out with weapons, even women, half naked, carrying brickbats and stones for the men to throw. A man will resist, fighting and struggling, in order to gain time till his friends collect for a rescue. These Irish were neither stupid nor barbarians. Mayhew often remarked upon their generosity, their powers of speech, and quickness of apprehension. They adhered to a different value system than that of the English artisan, and in shocking English proprieties, one feels that they often enjoyed themselves and acted up the part. Often, a Bolton attorney recalled, they played the fool in the dock, bringing forward a tribe of countrymen as character witnesses, showing an acute knowledge of legal procedure in their prevarications, and making magistrates dizzy with their blarney. The same disregard for veracity made many of them consummate beggars, generous to each other if they shaved money. It was for some definite project, emigration to Canada or marriage. To bring wives and children, brothers and sisters to England, they would treasure up halfpenny after halfpenny for years. But they would not save to preserve either themselves or their children from the degradation of a workhouse. As street sellers, they remained in the poorest grades, as hawkers or rag dealers. Their temperament, Mayhew dryly commented, was not adapted to buying in the cheapest market and selling in the dearest. To the English poor laws, they maintained a cheerful predatory attitude. They turned the obsolete settlement laws to their advantage, joyriding up and down the country at parochial expense, and who would know whether Manchester was or was not the parish of origin of Paddy Maguire? And slipping out of the overseer's cart when the stopping place seemed congenial. They would accept parochial relief without the least sense of shame. This was an unsettling element in the formative working class community, a seemingly inexhaustible flow of reinforcements to man the battlements of Satan's strongholds. In some towns, the Irish were partially segregated in their own streets and quarters. In London in 1850, Mayhew found them in the labyrinth of alleys off Rosemary Lane, in whose folds could be seen rough headed urchins running with their feet bare through the puddles, and bonnetless girls huddled in shawls lolling against the doorposts. In the cellars of Manchester and Leeds, there was a similar segregation, and there was also the segregation of religion. In 1800, the native working class population, which adhered to the Catholic faith, was minuscule. In the Irish immigration, the Catholic Church saw evidence of a divine plan to recover England to the faith, and wherever the Irish went, the priests followed closely after. Moreover, this Irish priesthood was poorer and closer to the peasantry than any in Europe, with an average income which has been estimated at £65 a year. In a literal sense, they lived off their flocks, taking their meals in the homes of their parishioners, and depended on their goodwill. The priest, said the Protestant Bishop of Waterfront, must follow the impulse of the popular wave, or be left behind on the beach to perish. Live with me and live as I do. Oppress me not with superior learning or refinement. Take thankfully what I choose to give you, and earn it by compliance with my political creed or conduct. Such is the language of the Irish cottager to his priest.